Welcome to Living Gets Real. I'm Ashwini Vedakan. Joining us on this week's episode and in the game of Never Have I Ever is celebrity chef and Bellissima chocolate biscuit pudding founder Dush Ratnayakar.
So, never have I ever snooped through someone's stuff. I think my brothers. Oh yeah, I think I picked the bad one. Oh, and curry powder. Is it? Ugh. It's starting rough. Okay. Never have I ever lost a bet. Have she? Oh, much better. Okay. Never have I ever relieve myself in public pool. No, yeah. Actually, I haven't. Some water though. Never have I ever cheated on someone. No. Never done that. Never have I ever went 24 hours without showering. No. That looks a bit scary. Go with this. Okay, straight up languages, I think. Never have I ever kissed someone in public. Wait, so if I have to do it, right? What are these things? I think I'm getting into the really scary ones. What do I say? Not so bad. Coke and something. Okay. Never have I ever lied to my boss. Yes, I have. Well, but now I'm my own boss, so. Oh, that's nice. That is beer. And Coke, I think. Not nice, but it wasn't terrible. Never have I ever laughed so hard I peed my pants. No, I never peed my pants. I have peed my pants, but not laughing. As a kid, not now. Never have I ever stalked someone on social media. Nah. Mama? No. This. Oh, that's weird. So that's just Coke and I think the Milo instant, but it smells like Mama. It's weird. Tastes okay.
Welcome to Living Gets Real, Dush. It's good to have you here with us.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
How do you feel after a little game of Never Have I Ever? Our flavors are pretty bad. A combination.
That was on purpose, though.
Was it? So let's start with our first burning question. How did you get into the trade?
So it was, so I made a very conscious decision when I was about 27, 28 to join this industry. So that was about a decade or more ago. But I've been cooking all my life since I was about 7. So, and it just was a part of me for the longest time. I think when I really, when it really started to, when I started to experience the quantum shift was probably in university, when I had all my international friends come and they would cook things from, you know, their recipes back home from their moms and grandmas, and I think it really opened up my mind to, my goodness, like there's so much out there in the world, and it made me a little sad too, because like I'll never be able to eat all these things, let alone cook all of them. So it fascinated me, and I think that really started getting me to look at food more seriously, because it was not even a hobby, really, it's just something I did up until then. And everybody would, and I think we paid this compliment to anyone's food, be like, oh, you should start a restaurant, and everyone used to say this to me, and I think they were just joking, but I heard it so many times, it just started to, I think the idea started to percolate, and I think I reflected on it quite seriously after a point. I was like, no, I think I do want to do this. So that's kind of how, so at 28, 27, I joined.
How would you describe your philosophy of cooking?
Well, I would think it's, in a nutshell, I would say, try to keep it innovative. Case in point, I think the biscuit puddings I do for Bellissima is a testament to that. And so I want to talk a little bit about this because I realized I've never done this, and my mom used to always kind of ingrain in us that don't blow your own trumpet. So, I was really conditioned, and I realized that I've really done a disservice to the brand because I never really talk about what this product is, and I haven't.
And it deserves to be spoken about. So.
When I was reflecting, I thought, I think I do need to, because the clients that I serve it to just think, oh, it's a good tasting biscuit pudding in a pretty jar, and even future clients and even my employees probably don't know this. But when we started creating the cream for the biscuit pudding, it's not the typical butter icing that we traditionally use.
Okay.
And I'm not a big fan of it, and that's why I started changing it. And it's not any buttercream, to be honest. It's not American buttercream or Swiss meringue or Italian, German or French or any of these. It's not custard, it's not a pastry cream, it's not the cream or anything that you would even learn in culinary school. So I kind of custom created it to work in a biscuit pudding. Okay. So that's why ours tastes the way it does. It's uniquely that. So you can only get this proprietary cream at Bellissima. Mm-hmm. And so just doing that wasn't enough for me. I really wanted to change up the biscuit pudding, and that's when the new flavors came in. So now reflecting back, when I say we, I had a friend who was helping me out as well at the time, Andrew, and when we brought our minds together, when we started ideating, we thought, okay, we need to change it up further. And the thing we did is we introduced these different flavors, and looking back, we realized that we kind of came up with these ideas kind of in a vacuum chamber, because there wasn't anything locally that we could look for inspiration or really, because I think our cuisine had stagnated, probably even for centuries, and I think the war didn't help at all.
Yeah.
So when we came out of it, it's pretty much soon after, there was really nothing we could look to, and all our local desserts, not even desserts, any type of, it's exactly how we've been doing it for decades and decades and maybe centuries. Yeah. So when we did this, we didn't think too much of it, but now looking back, this was kind of the beginning of a bit of a revolution, because now we see so many different foods that are changing the game, where they're innovating and it's changing our cuisine. And so I'm really proud of it. So probably when you're eating this, you're kind of consuming an artifact of culinary history in a sense.
Now, personally, I've tried the classic flavor. What else is new out there now? I can see something pink. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so it's a little daring color-wise. So that's bubblegum flavor.
Okay.
Yeah. And do you feel like you'd like to try that?
Shall we try it? Okay. You can smell the bubblegum. There used to be a bubblegum that smelled just like this.
Yes, the bubble. Or
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
I don't remember the name.
That was the inspiration.
Oh, okay. Let's try this.
This is gonna be weird for you.
I don't know. I'm not very adventurous. Let's try it.
Is that a good place?
I like it. I didn't think I would. It's actually really good. It has that. It's really creamy.
Yeah.
It's a lot creamier than. The bubblegum taste. It's surprisingly tasty with the biscuit.
Yeah, it mellows up.
Yeah. It kind of like. It's like the biscuit sort of makes it like, gives it. I don't have words. I don't have words right now.
But I'm glad you like it.
It's really good.
Yeah. My guys hate making this because it's so much work to like paint the bottle because it's about 7 different colors you can
Oh.
see. Yeah.
But that's
But,
icing though, right? Or like coloring,
that's my
food coloring?
Yeah. My chocolate coloring, yes, of course.
It's really good. It's really good. Now you mentioned during our chat before we got on camera that you had 9 flavors so far.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about what the flavors are right now that are out in the market?
Yeah, sure. So we have 3 different chocolate ones. We have Carac Orange and the Classic. The Classic one is egg-free, which a lot of people appreciate. Then we have a white chocolate raspberry, a salted caramel, a mint chocolate. Then there's the bubblegum, of course. And, key lime. And I'm forgetting the last one. Too many flavors to remember. But the idea is to get to 16 in the next couple of months.
It's like you're exploring different flavors with biscuit pudding.
Yes, that's the idea behind the whole brand anyway. And I want to get it to 40 before we open the store.
Nice. Now, cooking. What would you consider your least and your favorite dish to make?
Okay. So my favorite, well, it's not one dish, but I love anything that involves dough. So whether it's pastry or bread or, because I remember flipping through my grandmother's cookbooks and from the 1960s, like these housewives making pies and, and I used to think it was like magic because one thing we didn't bake at home. I don't think we even had an oven. I don't know we had an oven, but it was really big. Nobody used it. And I used to think this is like unbelievable. Like how do people do this? And I'm never going to be able to do this. And now when I actually make them, it brings me so much joy because it's almost like one of those full circle moments. I'm like, oh my god, I'm living what I thought was impossible as a kid, and it still holds that magic for me. So it makes me really happy if I'm ever handling dough, rolling it out. So tarts, pies, pastries, anything, breads brings me absolute bliss. So my least favorite, there isn't really anything that's my least favorite, but again, it's usually. It kind of comes down to process when I'm doing my YouTube channel, Dishing with Dush, I try to embody that spirit of innovating because that's just me and I want to showcase that and share all the exciting things that I do. But sometimes I do take on sponsored products and usually it's fine, but sometimes there's a little bit of bureaucracy and they think my idea is a little too out there and they want to scale it back. And for me, then it kills the joy of what I'm trying to do just a little bit. Well, it's okay. It usually works out. We compromise, but so that is a little bit grueling. So those types of dishes where it's not 100% my input, I think not that I make it begrudgingly, but it's not as fun for me to do. But hey, it pays the bills, so I shouldn't complain.
Now I don't know about me, but I have a habit of following other people when it comes to my trade, right? Do you follow other chefs online?
Yeah. I think my favorite is probably now, technically speaking, I mean there are lots of people, but Jordi Roca, especially because he specializes in desserts. and he was the best pastry chef at one point in the world, and he's a Spanish chef, and he's insane. Like, I used to think Heston was crazy, but he even puts Heston to shame, because his first dessert, for example, was a cigar smoke flavored ice cream.
Cigar smoke flavored ice cream.
And that was the first dessert he tried.
That doesn't sound great though. Was it good?
Apparently it was amazing. And okay, if you think that sounds bad, he makes another dessert using dirt. He would literally go into the woods, pick a bucket of dirt, and he'll make dessert with it, and it's apparently amazing. Now, I haven't had the honor of being able to try any of this, but I'm so fascinated that because I mean I think I'm crazy, but no, like, this is next level. And then he's taken pheromones from some athlete and made like popsicles with it. And it sounds disgusting, but he makes it
now
work.
This is the face of something. Yeah.
But that is like next level creative genius, I think. So I really respect him and I follow him quite ardently.
Okay. Well, I actually have a couple of names that I want to ask you what kind of dish you would create for them, right? So the first is Nigel or Lawson.
Oh, okay. So this is funny. Somebody interviewed me for a newspaper article, and they sent me the questions, and and it was exactly this, like, what would you, not for Nigella, but if you had to cook for a celebrity chef, who would it be, what would you make?
Yeah.
I said, well, I wouldn't make anything special, but I would really love for her to try my biscuit pudding. Because if she likes it, that's like really validating, because I absolutely worship the ground she walks on.
What flavor would you give her though to try?
Oh, wait.
That's just because you have so many, so which one would you?
So this is not theoretical anymore, because you won't believe, I submitted that article, and so there were just too many questions, so that was dropped out, and it never got published. But I wish it was there in print to show people, because this is so crazy. 3 months after saying that, Nigella ends up coming to Sri Lanka.
Oh my god, did you get her to try it?
Yes, I managed to get tickets, and I went for and I was too scared to even go to the bathroom to pee, because I was like, I'm going to miss it. Exactly. People at the same time, I was mad. So I snuck in the puddings, which I was not supposed to do, in a bag, hiding on my chair. And I think by the time Nigella got to us, she's had enough. Because I think everybody wanted to tell their life story. She was worn out. And I scared the hell out of her. Because that was so intense. I was like, oh Nigella, you don't know, like, I know everybody probably says this, but I'm a bigger fan. Like, here's my pudding. Here, eat a pudding. It's like, no, I'll have one later, but thank you. So what happened? So I gave her the entire range. So that answers your question. So everything. And I just wanted to know, like, whether she had it. And luckily a friend had gone to the hotel that she was at and had seen her at dinner. I was like, no, walk up to her right now. And I asked her whether she had it. I was a maniac. And then she had liked it, which was amazing. So
That's
it's a great story. Yeah.
The next name I actually have here is Gordon Ramsay.
Okay, so the man hates pineapple on pizza. But I've seen the type of pineapple pizzas that he served, so of course it's terrible. It's this disgusting canned pineapple. That's a pineapple that's anemic. That's thrown on like a cheese pizza, of course that's horrible. So I think I would like to change his mind and give him a good pineapple pizza. Because I think it's doable. So I'm thinking, like, you put like a pineapple chutney as the base with, maybe not a tomato sauce, even buttercream sauce. And then you make like a dry pineapple curry and top it with bacon. I think you can't lose. I mean, a lot of restaurants do that combo here.
Yeah.
The pineapple and bacon, and it's fantastic. But I think you add a little bit of spice to it. I think it will just. But he can't eat a lot of spice either. So I don't know. We'll have to balance it. But I think we can change his mind.
Last name is Ina Gardner. What will you make her?
Oh, I love her. Well, she had some very interesting pasta recipes.
Okay.
And they're quite simple, but they sound so decadent. One is she does this lemon pasta, which is it's a lemon butter pasta, and that's literally the recipe. Those are the ingredients. It's lemon, butter, so lemon juice, lemon zest, butter, and the pasta, of course, with salt. And it just sounds so wonderful, and I think light, and it's not something you would think to put in a pasta, right? No. And she also does like this mushroom and white truffle oil pasta with cream. Sounds unbelievable. So I think what I would like to serve her is this dish I used to have at one of the restaurants I ran called Delish. We had a peanut butter pasta, which I think is unique enough that she knew it. It's not as disgusting as it sounds.
I was thinking.
But I think you had it. Maybe not, but take my first for it. It's quite good. So I think she would appreciate it.
Dush, what do you consider your 3 strengths when it comes to cooking?
Sure. So I think one would be that I have kind of this little ability to reverse engineer something that I taste. So if I like something, I'll go back home and I'll attempt it. I can get it pretty close usually. It may or may not be the actual ingredients in the dish, but I can sort of approximate it. So that's one. And I think also now, number 2, I just because I've worked so long and so intimately with a lot of ingredients, I have a sense of how they would react or what the intensity of flavor or the texture would result in the end product. So when I'm mapping out something in my head, it's become over time more accurate. So that's not really a skill so much as just practice, I think. Number 3 is, this is a weird one. And a lot of people don't believe me, but it's true. I can smell salt. Not on its own, but
you can smell salt?
Yeah, whether a dish is undersalted
or too salty.
Too salty is a little different. So once, so that I would have to taste, but if it's undersalted, I can definitely tell. And I've met people who can also do this, so I know I'm not the only one, and I feel that this will be validated. But because I think it changes the chemical composition of whatever you're salting. That subtlety I can pick up. Not if it's too salty, because that adjustment's been made. But if it's not there, there is a night and day difference. So I can pick that up.
This has been an interesting conversation with you. Thank you for joining us on Living Gets Real.
Thank you so much for having me. It was fun.
And that's all the time we have for you this week. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram to catch the latest episode of Living Gets Real. Thank you for watching and stay safe.